Okay, so this is a little pre-unit towards solving equations, and the first thing I want to look at is actually forming an equation, but also what the heck is an equation? So equations are just things with numbers and letters and equal signs, basically. And the equal sign means that everything on one side has to be exactly the same as everything on the other side. But they don't have to be looking identical. I know they just have to equal the same thing. And algebra kind of becomes like a riddle then. I've got some information hidden in there, like maybe the person who wrote the problem knew what A was, but they're not going to tell you. They're going to give you a hint, and they're going to say 4 times that thing is equal to 24, so it's your job to try to solve the riddle or solve the problem. And sometimes it's really helpful to actually say it out loud, because it helps us identify all the invisible junk that mathematicians use. So if I read this directly, I'd say 4a equals 24. But if I read it more correctly, I'm going to see that that's 4 times a number I don't know is equal to 24. Because in algebra, we can put a little invisible times sign between the 4 and the a. So that's 4 times something I don't know, a number, is equal to 24. And you might already know that. 4 times what is going to be equal to 24? Well, 4 times 6 will be 24, so I know in this case the answer is actually that a is equal to 6. Looking at another one, again, I've written this problem, I know what x is, but I'm not going to tell you, I'm just giving you some hints. So 14 minus x is equal to 2. So in words, that's 14. Take away a number is equal to 2. Okay, not too hard. 14 minus what's going to give you 2? Well, 14 minus 12 would give me 2, so I know in this case x is equal to 12. And sometimes it's the other way around. I'll give you all the words, and you've got to think about what's the equation that you would use to solve the riddle, or solve the problem. I think of a number, multiply it by 40, then subtract 10, and the result is 70. So again, I've written this problem, I know what the number is supposed to be, but you don't. So call the number something that you don't know. Could be any variable. We could use x, y, z, a, b, n, whatever you want. Maybe here we'll use x. So I think of a number, x, I'm not going to tell you what it is. I multiply that by 40, and then subtract 10. So x times 40, I then subtract 10, and the result is equal to 70. Now in algebra we often write the number in front of the letter for timesing them, so I might rewrite that with an invisible times sign to say 40x minus 10 is equal to 70. 40x is the same as x times 40, just written simpler. And again, maybe you can say the answer to this, maybe you can't, but you could always try stuff. Well, 40 times 1 minus 10, that doesn't work. What about 40 times 2? That's 80. Minus 10 gives me 70. So x must be 2. There's your answer. Last one here. I will do in math problems today. So I'm going to do a certain number of math problems, in of them, just a variable. I'm not going to tell you how many I'm going to do, but I'm going to give you some hints and see if you can figure out what it is. So I'm going to do in math problems today, and I will do 12 more than that tomorrow. What's 12 more than in? We gotta think of that first. How do I write that? Well, if I did in the first day, and I do 12 more than that the next day, that means I'm going to do in and another 12 of them. So tomorrow I'm going to do in plus 12 of them. And altogether, we'll complete 42 problems. So altogether, today and tomorrow, I'm going to do 42 total problems. So let's figure out what that is. Today I'm going to do in. Tomorrow, I'm going to do another in plus 12, so I'm going to add today's plus tomorrow's, and altogether it will be 42. And what's the answer then? Something I don't know, plus itself again, plus 12 is equal to 42. Well, what's the answer going to be? I'll leave that one for you to figure out, because I'll show you some strategies for how to solve these in the next videos. But one thing I might do here first is actually look at the ins there. Those are like terms, like we've talked about. So I might write that a little prettier as 2n plus 12 is equal to 42. Now if you can figure it out, great. If not, I guess we'll have to teach you some skills to solve these riddles.